Hey guys, it's Paul Jang. I'm gonna be talking about title costs, and basically, I wrote here I lost 1,800 in title costs. Could I have done anything different? It's a little bit like it, you can definitely do things different. Okay, so you're always weighing out two different costs. For those that don't know, whenever you buy a piece of property, you either use an attorney or a title company to do due diligence to see if the person was the owner, and if there's any back taxes or any other situations. They write up the paperwork, they send it off to the county, and you are now the owner, and they'll send you a thick package back to say, oh, you are the owner. And these are all the documents to prove it. Now, interestingly, in that if you ever bought a house or anything, your package, there's really only one paper that makes all the difference. And that paper is called a deed. And a deed is basically the owner of the property. Who owns the property? And there's language there for a grantee, grantor, and grantee. And what people don't tell you is that every day, without using a title company or attorney, there are investors, predominantly investors, that will basically do this for themselves. Um, I know that's the case for houses, and I know that's 100% the case for land investors. I do it all the time. I put some restrictions here for land. I usually uh, will do my own title work and save myself the $1,800 for a title company to do it. I say 1,800 because it's usually like 900 to 1,000 per person, but when I'm buying it, I'm usually saying that they'll net whatever amount of money and I'll pay the closing costs. But if it's the way that I run it is if I spend $5,000 or less on the property, I'll generally do it myself. So I'll pick up the deed from the county, and let me just show you how it goes. So let's just say I used to live in San Antonio. So Bear County Clerk's Office. What you do is you basically call them. Every county has a clerk's office. You call them, and and basically um, they have all the records for real property. It's also where you get your marriage license. So you record that you get married and you send it. So they have all these documents, right? And basically, I've talked to I guess it's Paul. It's been a couple years, but like I specifically went to Bear County and a guy told me like, yeah, he has relationships with real estate investors. There's people that like don't want their house anymore and you'll refer it over to an investor and the investor will pick it up. They'll just take over the deed. And that's actually called subject to. If you're ever interested in that, it's subject to investing. Basically, you take the property subject to the existing mortgage, but that happens all the time. You just take the deed to the property and you start making the payments on it. That's the simplified version. There's a couple steps in there, but you basically call them and you see who owns the property. You ask for the last deed, and then once you get the deed, you have the legal description. If the person is selling the property to you, you can meet with them or send a notary over to them, give them money, and you get the signed paperwork and give it to the county, and you're done. So, we call these self closings, and I'm not an attorney. I'm only saying it from my own experience and what I've done. But there's a world out there where the title company and the attorney, you can opt out. The only thing is with title companies, they do this insurance thing, and I always get suckered into it. And basically, whenever you do a title company, it'll come with title insurance. I like getting it all the time. It's just like personal peace of mind. But push comes to shove, it probably means very little because they've already done the work, and you know they said that it's clean. So, but if there's ever an issue, they'll figure out the title issues with it, like who owns the property, all that kind of stuff. But for those that aren't aware, there's something called quiet title. A quiet title action, Investopedia. A quiet title action, also known as action of quiet title, is a circuit court action or a lawsuit that is filed with the intent purpose to establish or settle the title to a property. Title, uh, um, for what a title company does. And what it does is where quiet title actions are particularly prevalent in cases where there is a disagreement on the title and the lawsuit is meant to remove or quiet a claim or objection to the title. The result is a clear title. So basically, what it is if there's any kind of dispute, if there's any kind of issue, if there's any, like, if you bought the land and you got the property and there's some kind of problem or something, a quiet title basically establishes who is the owner. And if you have records saying I bought this property, I legit gave this money over, we have some kind of deed that was notarized saying that he transferred this property over to me. This cost here. Let's see if we could find it. Quiet title cost. It runs about $2,000. Okay, quiet title would typically cost between 1,500 to 5,000 or more, depending on the complexity. So if it's like very complex, you know what complexity is? It's like you have heirs, like mom and dad passed away, and you have heirs, and the heirs are fighting over the property. And it's going through probate and different issues. The attorney has to do quiet title and make sure everything's good, or it goes to a tax deed sale and it sells to an investor. They've lost their rights, and now the homeowner is basically fighting this and that. Even then, like that's probably like not that complicated. They lost the property, but like usually with heirs, it'll be like a lot more, and there's people like legit fighting. If no one's fighting, if the person received money and you have like some kind of contract and like things have been notarized, like $2,000, like you'll be able to find an attorney that does it. What's the cost to quiet title in Arkansas? Typically costs 4,500 or more. Tax quality service can go up for 30 to 40 days at the fraction of a cost. Okay, so what is this guy saying? Really? Oh yeah, if you use someone else, it'd be 4,500, but with us, a fraction of the price. They won't give their price unless you sign up. Let's see here. Tax title services. Oh yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. A $2,000, right? So feel free to use tax title services. You heard it here. They will do your quiet titles. So essentially, what I'm saying is like there's a way here for you to save $1,800. I'm not saying you should do this every single time and self close on every single deal on yourself and complicate your life. What I am saying is if you are working with cheaper property, or if you don't have a lot of money invested into it and you're trying to save some cash, doing self closings might be a good way to go. And if there's ever a problem, you just realize, oh, I could do a quiet title. It's going to cost me $2,000. So I hope that kind of gave you a different world out there in real estate investing. When I found out about this, I was like blown away. I was like, what? That's such a thing. Because when you do these real estate sales, they have a HUD, they have disclosures upon disclosures, they have your deed, which is like hidden between all the other stuff. Everyone needs to sign everything. Really, the only person that ever has to really sign anything is the seller. And that is them saying that you don't even have to sign it. They just say that, hey, I give this property to this person. That's what the deed says. And that is what the title company records in their system to tell everyone else that this property is owned here by this person. And hey, because it's owned by this person, we're going to tax them with their property taxes. That's why it's recorded, because this is how the cities and towns make a huge chunk of their money through property taxes. I'm not sure if you realize that, but it's like a thing. In Texas, there's no income tax, but there's property taxes. And they are very particular with the values of each real estate property, unless you dispute. And this is how they make their money. So that's the other world of real estate investing. And what you could do if you never considered before, maybe self closing on your real estate transactions. Um, I'm not an attorney. I'm just my own experiences and what I know other people are doing. I'll leave it at that. If you are interested in land investing, it is how my wife and I were able to quit our jobs and basically do other things in our lives besides our 9 to 5 job. We were both teachers for a long time. Um, it's we basically buy the land real cheap and sell it for cash, and then uh, some of those transactions will also be owner financing. So we function like the bank and give out like a note, a promissory note, where they'll pay us per month, and if they don't, we'll take back the property and resell it. Kind of like how if you got a mortgage with like a house, right? You make payments to the bank and they collect all that interest. You can do that with land investing, and all the stuff about self closings, it's in our land course as well. It's included. So usually I'll use it for cheaper lots, but there's different niches within real estate investing, like the subject to stuff, that you could do self closings and it's worth doing. So that's that. If you're interested, check it out in the description below. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.